Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, and this video will be previewing day 3 of the Boodles Chester Festival. It wasn't so good as it was on day 1 for us. We just had the one winner today with Circus Maximus. It did drift out to quite a nice price in the end in the context of the race. I think he won at 5-4 in the end. Copper Knight was just shaded off in the final strides in the opening race, but apart from that, nothing really was knocking at the door today. Also as well, some of the draw bias completely went out the window. I noticed in a few races horses that were drawn out in the car park, which you normally wouldn't back, actually were very prominent today, and actually did make the frame in quite a lot of races and had a few winners as well that came from those stalls. So that was interesting there, and that's always the way it can sometimes go at Chester. Sometimes if you don't get a good start from your inside draw, which should normally give you the advantage, you can always be up against it, and that happened with a few of our selections today who were drawn well, but they didn't make the most of their position and they weren't able to capitalise. But I think if you do stay with horses that are drawn towards more the inside, over the long term, it would probably play diffident. So hopefully we can have a bit of a better day like we did on day 1 when we had an 8-1 and 16-1 winner. So hopefully we can do a bit better tomorrow. And it all kicks off again at Chester in the 150, and I'm going with a horse here called Cold Stare, 10-1 with bookmakers at the moment, trained by David O'Meara. Daniel Tadhope's booked for the ride. Now this trainer, David O'Meara, he's been in flying form over the past few days. He had a winner on the opening day, and some of his horses now are really starting to hit form. This horse probably needed his reappearance in quite a interesting race at Haydock, good competitive one for the grade. And I just think with the rain that's fallen, that's definitely going to see him to good effect. He won on soft and heavy ground at Haydock last year, and he ran a good race to finish second at Doncaster. He's got a lot of good form in the bag with plenty of cut in the ground. And I think tomorrow he's not badly drawn, and I think tomorrow with the stable in good form, he's a good each way bet to kick things off. He's 10-1 with bookmakers at the moment, and I think he'll come on for that run where he finished 9th at Haydock on his latest start. So that's going to be the selection there. We then go to the 225 with a horse called Addeybb, 13-8 best odds with bookmakers at the moment, trained by William Haggis. James Doyle's but for the ride. This horse won the Lincoln last year when we actually backed him and advertised him here on the YouTube channel. Went winning fresh. He bolted up that day on very soft ground. He went on to win a Group 2 at Sandown on his subsequent start on soft ground. So that's definitely the key to him here. Also as well, he'll appreciate the soft ground that's been falling at Chester the last couple of days. So he's going to have conditions right up his street tomorrow, and I think he's the most likely winner of this, and no qualms about him being his first run of the season. So Addeybb, that's going to be our second selection there. We then go to the 3 o'clock, and I'm going with an old favourite here called Frankuus, 5-1 with bookmakers at the moment. Same combination again with Danny Tadhope and David O'Meara. Finished second at Ripon last time out behind an improver of Mark Johnston's. Probably needed the run that day, but I think he's still extremely well handicapped, off a mark of 100. He won a Group 3 when he was with Mark Johnston a couple of years ago, and I remember backing him that day as well. It was the Lancaster Stakes, I think, or something like that, at Haydock back in the summer there. So he's definitely a quality horse on this day. He's got some good form. He doesn't mind cutting the ground as well. He likes to be prominent up with the pace, and I think he's got a good draw tomorrow, and if he can capitalise on that, he should be there or thereabouts, and he might be a bit of a hard nut to crack. So he's going to be our third selection there. The Chester Cup, the feature race on day 4 in the 3:35, and I'm going with a horse here that's made the frame the last couple of years, and that's Whodareswins. I think he's a fair each way bet tomorrow at 12-1, trained by Alan King, and Tom Marquand's bit for the ride. This has definitely been his target since he made his comeback run at Newbury when he finished third that day. I was there that day as well, and I backed him, and he hit a flat spot down the home straight when he was travelling really well, but after he got through that flat spot, he was staying on really well at the end, and he was closing the front two that day, so that was definitely a good effort. He'll come on for the run. That was his first run as well for nearly a year when he finished third in this race before, and I think tomorrow, even though he's got maybe not the best draw in the world, he knows how to run around here really well. Tom Marquand as well is a good upcoming jockey, and this would be another good victory to be a feather in his cap going forward. And I just think tomorrow Whodareswins, if you can get an extra place somewhere out there, he could be a good each way bet at 12-1. So that's going to be the tip there. We then go to the 410. I know Catchy is the odds-on favourite here, and he did bolt up last time when he beat the track record at Lingfield on all-weather finals day. But I think he's worth taking on here with maybe one at the dirty each-way angle with a horse called Amomentofmadness. 5-1 with bookmakers at the moment, trained by Charlie Hills. Sylvester de Souza's booked for the ride, who had a couple of winners at Chester today. This horse is a lightning front runner. He's drawn in stall 2 tomorrow, and you know he's going to go hard early on. He doesn't mind a little bit of cutting the ground. He's not done really well on it, but he can handle it. And Catchy, that's the question mark I've got against him tomorrow, even though he looks an absolute physical specimen at the moment. He looks really well, but I just think Catchy is definitely worth taking on here. And even though he's going to be getting £3 from a moment, £3 a moment this is going to be getting from Catchy, I think that might not be enough for Catchy to give away. I think Amomentofmadness at 5-1 could definitely be a good dirty each way bet tomorrow. He won at this meeting last year, and I just think he's the more solid option to be with, and I think he's definitely going to at least make the frame in what looks like a very tricky race to work out an alternative to Catchy. But nonetheless, I think you've got to take him on at the price. We then go to the 4:14. I'm going with a horse here called Azari, 16-1 with bookmakers at the moment, trained by Alexandra Dunn, who's stable in fairly decent nick at the moment. Thorhammer Hanson's booked for the ride, claiming £5. Now this horse has notched up 3 wins on the all-weather this year on the 5 stand at Seville, and I just think tomorrow he's got a fair each way chance here. He might not be seen to best effect on soft ground, but he has run well on it in the past. He finished 4th at Chester last time he appeared here on his only course start, so we know he can handle the track. I think he's still fairly well treated off his mark of 80. He's been higher rated before in his career, and I just think in what looks like a tricky race, Azari could be the one to be with here as a speculative each way bet. We then go to the final selection for the final race of the Boodles Chester Festival, and I'm going with a horse here in the 5:15 that's won at the track before the 2014 Chester Cup, and that's Suegioo. He's 20-1 with bookmakers at the moment, trained by Ian Williams. Paul Hannigan's booked for the ride in the colours of Dr. Marwin Kukash, who loves to have runners at this event. He finished 4th in the race last year. He doesn't mind a bit of cutting the ground. You can go well fresh. I think he's got a lot in his favour tomorrow, and this old boy, even though he's getting on a bit now, I think he's still a good each way bet, and it looks a tricky race, but I think Suegioo, he loves the track, he knows how to do it on a big occasion here. I think you definitely got maybe have a couple of quid on him if you're feeling like it in the last race. So they're the tips for day 3 of the Boodles Festival of the Chester meeting. Also as well, I'm going to be at Ascot tomorrow, so if you don't follow me on Twitter, go to my Twitter feed and my handle at LuckyLoads15 to see updates and tips, things going on at Ascot tomorrow. So go and follow me over there if you haven't done so already. And that's all I've got to say, so please gamble responsibly, subscribe to my YouTube channel here at LuckyLoads15. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.